Yeah, we are live now. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to this 18th Sunday in commemoration of 25 years of OTG, a project founded, mentored, and led by our Dr. B.N. Vishwanath, who is no more with us today physically, but his guidance and his inspiration has been the source of all this talks and workshops and foodscapes which have been happening. And this is the 18th week that we are having this. We will be going on till 25 to commemorate 25 years. Even after that, there will be some activities related to gardening. I think by then the pandemic would have gone, and we will all be ready for a real Uta from your Tota also. So pandemic is already on its way out, so we can have a real Uta from your Tota also. And for today's session, we have got two experts from two different but two very interrelated fields. One being rainwater harvesting and the other being drip irrigation. Both are very interrelated. One provides the water and the other one distributes the water economically. We have Mr. Vivek Chandra, who is an engineer by profession. He is an expert in the field of water conservation. He is the proprietor of Nesara Constructions and Rainwater Harvesting Firm, which focuses on various aspects of civil engineering, rainwater harvesting, greywater recycling, and water conservation projects. Through the firm, he has executed the construction of more than 250 residential projects since 1998 and more than 4,000 rainwater harvesting projects of various categories from government school buildings, individual residences, big apartments, and industries. He is also associated with social organizations like RSS, Rotary Club, and affiliated to the Indian Plumbing Association. Welcome to this event, sir. We are eagerly looking forward to hearing from you. Welcome, sir. And the other stalwart we have is Mr. Harshavardhan. He has an IT background, but he's very passionate about growing vegetables wherever he gets the space, be it terrace, backyard, or a farm. With his own experience and with the support of Agri Engineering friends, he has executed many drip setups in OTGs, large landscapes in apartments, and the farms with their firm brand, A Leaf Drip Irrigation. So welcome, Harsha, sir. We are looking forward to hearing from both of you. We have got a lot of viewers who are waiting on YouTube to watch this program. So without taking much of your time, placing on record the excellent initiatives taken by our secretary, Dr. Hegde, and other stalwarts here, Mr. Anil Nadig, Ramakrishna, Ritu, Madhav, so many of you are there. And Mr. Maheshwar is always there, he all the way from Orissa. So we will start off the program now. Over to Mr. Vivek Chandra, and it will then be taken over by Mr. Harshavardhan. Mr. Vivek Chandra, the session is yours. Please carry on, sir.
Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction, sir. I'm grateful for your act. Let me share my PPT screen. Is it visible?
Visible, yeah.
Okay. Let me introduce myself as a professional, civil engineering professional who's involved in construction activity since 1998. And since 1998, we are also doing rainwater harvesting projects in and around Bangalore. We are one of the leading rainwater harvesting consultant and contractor in Bangalore, having executed more than 4,000 installations successfully. So we adopt the latest technology and services using the best quality materials in the market. It will be a pleasure to assist you in your projects. So let me get on to today's topic. First, I would like to know the relevance of rainwater harvesting in an urban scenario. Why we need to do rainwater harvesting? As we all know, the rainwater is the primary source of all secondary source of water like river, lake, borewell, and municipal supply. Of late, people are using precious treated fresh water and groundwater for irrigation purpose, industrial purpose, and drinking purpose. Because of this over-dependence on fresh water and over-exploitation of groundwater, day by day, the groundwater source is depleting and quality of water is deteriorating. For example, as we go for deeper borewell, the water contains salinity, fluoride, which is not suitable for potable purpose and irrigation. So fresh water sources are drying up fast as our requirements are outstripping our availability. This has increased the cost of water as well. Many housing, office complex, and industries are reeling under a lack of fresh water resources as borewells have dried up and municipal supply is not sufficient. And one more major cause is increasing concretization, reduction in green cover in urban areas, and polluting the natural water bodies are creating more surface rainwater. This is causing the flooding in the low-lying urban areas. But in spite of all, we are getting good rainfall that is on an average of 600 to 1000 millimeter every year throughout the country and about 3000 millimeter in coastal area. So this makes a good reason to harvest the rainwater. So let me get on to the benefits of rainwater harvesting. The first and foremost benefit is rainwater is free. The only cost incurred is for collection and reuse, thereby reducing the utility bills. It is a decentralized source, unlike your supply water or borewell water where government agencies collect taxes. Rainwater is sustainable resource. We will be less dependent on supply water and groundwater in case of harvesting the rainwater. And rainwater is free of hardness. This helps in reducing the scaling and need of a softener. It has a nearly neutral pH. And rainwater is superior for landscape irrigation as well as bathing purpose. By harvesting rainwater, we are reducing the flow to stormwater drain, which avoids unnecessary flooding. Rainwater harvesting through groundwater recharging increases the water table and gives saturated soil condition for the plants and trees in the surrounding. There is no valid myth involved in using rainwater for domestic potable purpose. It can be very much used for all purpose like any other water source with necessary precautions. So let's go on to the types of rainwater harvesting. Broadly, we can have 4 types of rainwater harvesting, even though many experts do harvest the rainwater in different way. So the first and foremost is the rainwater harvesting for reutilization. This is from rooftop, wherein rainwater falling on the building rooftop can be collected and reused. The second one is the rooftop rainwater harvesting for direct recharging of borewell. Here, the rainwater falling on the rooftop is collected, filtered, and injected to borewell casing pipe with certain conditions. These 2 types are most adaptable and more beneficial for urban areas. The third one is groundwater recharging, which can be a good option for surface runoff and can be done in community environment. And the fourth one is surface runoff rainwater recharging deeper aquifer by injection well method. This is a highly technical method of harvesting the deeper aquifer, the injection well method. We will not be dealing with that in this session. So let's come to the first and most prioritized option of rainwater harvesting, which is rooftop rainwater harvesting. The concept is to collect all the rainwater falling on rooftop, which is your catchment area, wherein the existing rainwater outlets from rooftop are interconnected and drawn to appropriate position close to your collection point. Here, filters are used to remove the dust particle from rainwater. The filtered rainwater is then diverted to underground tanks or PVC tanks for reutilization, and any excess overflow is diverted for direct recharging of borewell or recharge pit based on availability. By doing this, dependence on other sources like borewell and supply water will reduce up to 20 to 30% during the rainy season. This whole system is gravity based. It is a one-time investment with no recurring cost of involvement for maintenance and reaping the benefits year on year. In case of clear open terrace, the filtered rainwater can be collected in the existing sump tank along with other supply water for direct usage. Many people have apprehension of putting the rainwater from their own building terrace in their own sump tank where they will be receiving municipal supply water. But I would like to say many people like me are using the rainwater after filtration along with the Kaveri water mixed together. There is no harm. But we need to take care about the cleanliness of the terrace in a certain way. In case of a terrace gardening on rooftop, care should be taken regarding rainwater getting mixed up with soil or organic matter. In such a scenario, rainwater can still be collected in a dedicated storage like PVC tank to be utilized for gardening and other cleaning purpose. The excess overflow can then be diverted for groundwater recharging system. Or even if there is a secondary filtration, even that water can also be utilized for potable purpose. The second method is direct recharging of borewell. Very few experts like me will watch for this direct recharging of borewell because I have been practicing this from past 12 years. I can say with confidence, with certain conditions applied, we can recharge the deeper aquifer of the borewell source. So in this method is recommended only in case of a defunct borewell or a deeper borewell with a low yield capacity. In case of a borewell depth lesser than 300 feet with a good yield, we don't recommend direct recharging of borewell. Here, the rainwater is filtered and allowed to percolate to deeper aquifer through the existing borewell casing pipe. The rainwater can be from rooftop or surface runoff water of the rainwater channels or gutters. The rainwater should be filtered properly by way of either rainy rooftop filters or V-wire vertical screen filters or through a filtration media with good maintenance before letting it into borewell casing pipe. So the care should be taken to the utmost that no bad water gets into the borewell source. In case of that, we will be polluting the entire source of the borewell, which might harm the source in the vicinity. The best practice is to allow the rainwater to settle in a tank before it is diverted to borewell casing pipe. The advantage of direct recharging is the soft filtered rainwater is added directly to the source of the borewell, which will have greater chance of retaining the water table and also reduces the hardness level of the borewell water. So the third and most popular method is the groundwater recharging method, especially in initial days of in Bangalore when the rainwater harvesting regulations were implemented by BWSSB. The entire concept is copied by the Chennai experience. Now our BWSSB people have realized that in Bangalore, groundwater recharging method is not giving results. So they are changed the regulations and they are giving importance to reusing the rainwater. For this, they suggest 6 liters storage capacity for every 1 square feet of roof area. So let me explain briefly about the groundwater recharging method. In this method, rainwater from either rooftop or surface runoff channels will be channelized through a filtration media of various layers and allowed to percolate to ground by making recharge wells of suitable volume. Here, care should be taken to select the suitable place for this recharge well. It should be away from the building foundation line by at least 5 to 6 feet to avoid any possible seepage to the foundation. And it should be away from the sanitary drain system to avoid mixing up of good and bad water. The depth of the recharge well should be at least 10 feet. It should be ideally reaching the soil condition like sandy loam strata for better percolation. So this is the main drawback of Bangalore. So in many areas, we find hard rock strata within 10 feet depth. And the percolation rate of the rainwater is very, very less. And the saturation of the soil also reaches very fast within 1 or 2 years of recharging. So thereby, the rainwater gets stagnant in the pit, then overflows through the recharge well. So that is why we discourage this for in the urban areas where the plot size or the building size is very small. This is advisable only in case of a large open area where a large open surface runoff water is available. The size of the recharge well is also decided as per the catchment area. So the recharge well should be internally lined with RCC cement rings with 40 mm aggregate packing on the outer surface. This is to give stability to the column of the recharge pit. So though it is a popular method of rainwater harvesting, it should be preferred after considering the option of reusing the rainwater. But this can be adopted in a community environment where large volume of surface runoff water can be percolated to groundwater table. The advantage of this method is it saturates the soil in the immediate surrounding, thereby helping the plants and the trees to get reserved moisture during the non-rainy season. This will also help in resurrecting our ancient culture of shallow aquifer water usage in the long run. The concept behind recharge well is when we recharge the well in the rainy season, the surrounding soil area of the recharge pit will get saturated. And over the period, the saturation reaches to a certain extent. During the summer, when there is no inflow into the recharge well, that saturated water can get back into the recharge well. So that water can be reused for non-potable purpose, or if the water quality is good, it can be used for potable purpose also. This is the basic idea behind recharge well. And this is also a good method where people don't like to reuse the rainwater, or if they don't have enough water demand. So instead of wasting the water to the stormwater drain in the road or to the sanitary system, at least they can put it for groundwater percolation. So in the same category, in the community environment, we can do recharging of rainwater harvesting going through stormwater drain in the road. As you can see in this picture, the rainwater flowing through the stormwater drain is obstructed by a simple baffle wall. The flowing water is then diverted to a filtration chamber consisting of different layers of aggregates and sand placed from bottom to top. Typically, the rainwater is made to flow through various size void structure to trap different size suspended particles. At the bottom of the filtration chamber, the pipe is connected to the main recharge well. The biggest advantage of this method will be avoiding the urban flooding situations and soil erosion. Now, let's come back, take a case study of a simple urban dwelling unit, how we can plan for rainwater harvesting system in a plot size of 30 by 40. So I've considered a site dimension of 1,200 square feet, where the supply water is either from municipal or borewell, or if both are not there, they are dependent on tanker water. This is only an example. So they have an existing storage tank of 6,000 liters. So, and they have a borewell also, which is yielding on and off. When I say yielding on and off, it yields in the rainy season and not yields in the, or low yield in the summer season. So it has a depth of 950 feet. So when we calculate the demand of water for two houses of 4 person each at the rate of 150 liters per head per day, the dwelling needs 1,200 liters per day consumption. So I have considered the average rainfall of that particular region as 1,000 millimeter, as is the case for Bangalore also. So when we come to the calculation of the rainwater collected here, the average rainwater which can be collected every year is 77,400 liters. So this is for every year for an average rainfall of 1,000 millimeter. In case of Bangalore, from past 5 to 6 years, it has rained more than 1,100 millimeter. And this year, as we all know, we have already received 20% more than the annual average. So the number of days the house can depend on rainwater in a year is 65 days. That is by calculating the total volume which can collect in a year and divide by the daily water demand. So this saves water up to 18%. So imagine by just storing rainwater from your own rooftop, you can save 18% of your annual usage. And by recycling your grey water, you can save much more than 18%. So the minimum capacity required to store this rainwater, we have a calculation as per the world standard. 5% should be, or I would say the minimum capacity should be to hold 50 millimeter rainfall on any given day, which equates to 3,870 liters. So the existing capacity of 6,000 liters is more than sufficient, and it is possible in case of an overflow, the water can be diverted to the existing borewell or recharge well. So this is about urban scenario. Do we have time, sir? Can I go ahead or can I? So when we come to rainwater harvesting for farmland and open large areas, in our country, we are mainly dependent on rain-fed irrigation system. Canal irrigation system is becoming increasingly overburdened as more land is covered for cultivation. Availability of power and borewell technology has created exploitation of
Go
groundwater.
ahead, Vivek, no problem.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sources without accountability. Only 1 or 2 borewells survive out of 10 borewells drilled. Nobody knows how many borewells failed before a successful borewell is yielding the water. Only when you ask a farmer how much he has spent on the borewell, he will tell 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. We will be wondering why he spent so much water. But behind one successful borewell, he would have drilled at least 5 to 6 failed borewell. This is the present scenario now. And borewell depths are also going deeper year on year, as only 20% of the rainfall is absorbed by ground. Remaining 80% is being wasted as runoff and also creating soil erosion of top fertile soil. So let's come to a typical RWH system for farmland, large open area. Here we have considered 1 acre land for calculation purpose. First thing we need to do is topographic survey to understand the terrain of the land. At downstream, we need to make provision for an open well to collect the surface runoff water. The water first enters the silt trap to remove the solid matter and clear water flows into the open well. Apart from this, to prevent the water flowing out of the land in case of a heavy rain and the land being very slopey, trenches can be made at periodical intervals to slow down the flow and to make it percolate to the ground. This will also avoid soil erosion to a great extent. And recharge wells can also be considered at suitable places to percolate stagnant water. Like in some lands, there will be multiple low-lying areas. In such cases, recharge wells can be done in a smaller way, at least. Even if they can't plan for a bigger recharge well, at least for a smaller way. The idea is whatever rainwater, even a single drop of rainwater, what falls on our land should not escape the boundary wall. Everything has to be absorbed and percolated to the ground. So in case of a bore well near to open well, the overflow from the open well can be diverted to bore well casing pipe for direct recharging. Again, this is subjected to certain conditions like depth and formation of bore well. Alternatively, another system called injection well can be adopted near the bore well to inject rainwater to deeper impervious layer. So I will briefly explain about the concept behind injection well method. Here, the suitable place is located at a distance of 15 to 20 feet near the existing bore well. Using electrical sounding method, the first impervious permeable zone is located, usually at a depth of 30 to 50 meters. An 8.5 inch drill is made up to this depth. 10 mm crushed stones are placed inside the bore for a depth of 5 meters. Then a black HDPE pipe with 8 mm holes drilled in zigzag pattern fixed with unique V-wire screen filter at both ends is lowered inside the bore, leaving at least 5 meters on top. After this, again 10 mm crushed stone is packed around the HDPE pipe to fill the bore. The top 5 meter, a storage well is created to hold about 5,000 liters, where the bottom of the well should be below the top V-wire screen. Right at the top level, filtration media of crushed stones, sand, and activated carbon is placed. Rainwater from the catchment area is diverted to a silt trap first. Here, the bigger dust particles will be filtered. Then silt trap is basically a chamber of 1 meter cube with mesh filter and crushed stone at bottom. So the bigger dust particles will get settled before it gets into the actual filtration media. So water from silt trap is then diverted to top of the filtration media of injection well. The further filtered rainwater gets into the holding tank and in turn seeps into injection well through V-wire screen filter. The purpose of V-wire screen filter is to prevent any possible dust passing through the sand media filtration into the borewell casing pipe. So this way, the filtered rainwater is injected to the first permeable zone. Once water reaches this zone, it will be further percolate to the deeper aquifer by natural filtration of soil. So this way, we are able to recharge large volume of rainwater to deeper aquifer. So to conclude, we all know that holistically, there are 3 R's which predominantly people use, that is reduce, recycle, and reuse. So I would like to add one more R to that recharge system. So I would like to thank organizers and Mr. Rajendra Hegde for providing this wonderful platform of environmental enthusiasts. It's an honor to be part of this webinar series for nurturing urban foodscapes. Hope this information will be utilized to conserve the rainwater. And it will be my pleasure to provide clarification and solution regarding rainwater harvesting system. Thank you all for your valuable time. Thank you.
Vivek, you are not in a hurry, no? You can be there till the end of the session, no?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Okay. There are few queries people are asking, but
Sure.
I think they are related queries to your session as well as Harsha's session. So we will have this at the end of the episode session.
Sure, sir.
That we will make it, so that way it makes sense also. And thank you very much. You have probably provided Harsha enough time to explain in a better manner. Otherwise, the first speaker, if it takes more time, then the second speaker will be always in a hurry. So over to Harsha.
Hi guys. First of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And as already shared, water is the most precious commodity, and we are all sustainable people. And Bangalore is, unfortunately, I was heard in line after Cape Town and Chennai. So let me share my screen here. Can someone allow me? I'm getting this message, host disabled participant screen sharing. Sorry, I have to log into a laptop to share the screen, and I have to use the mobile for talking. So maybe this may be the reason. So can please somebody look into this?
Anil, can you do that?
Let me check, sir. 1 minute.
Rajesh is also there. Yes. So make Harsha co-host once again.
Yeah, unfortunately not the one where I'm talking, but the other screen. Because some issue with network, so I have to do all this. At least I'm glad I was able to do.
I've made Harsha the co-host.
Okay, great. Let me try sharing.
There are 2 Harshas. Did you mean the other screen?
Yeah, one second.
Harsha Shitole.
Yeah. The other one, Harsha.
There is one Harsha as well.
Yeah, use that.
Yeah, Harsha camera is off.
Yeah, not the one with the camera, just.
Harsha Shitole is correct, no?
No. The other one, there is one without the surname Harsha. Make that co-host.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Honors.
Still unable to.
Harsha the co-host. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right, can you see it?
Yes.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. So, okay. So again, quickly, why to set up a drip system in urban landscape. So yeah, we all OTGs, we enjoy growing veggies wherever we get the space, terraces, balconies, or whatever the farm we have, right? And watering is the most regular activity one has to perform. And to perform this watering activity, in better way, it gives a better yield if we do it on consistent basis. And in our busy schedule, it's really challenging at times, especially for the people who are working, to water them regularly, or if, especially if we have many pots and or a large backyard or a farm, it takes a lot of time, right? And as compared to all other activities, fertilizer management or pest management, watering takes a lot of time, 30 to 40 minutes a day. I know it's kind of, a lot of people enjoy during watering, but I feel, instead of watering, holding them, they should enjoy the overall gardening experience and let the technology, the tool, the automation do the same job, what allows them to do, right? So they have the option, for the people who are like that, they have this option, right? And especially when someone has a traveling job like I also used to have, then I end up killing all the plants, or pushing all my responsibility of watering to someone else. And that family member may be knowledgeable, or he's not that keen or interested in learning the watering techniques, which I'll be talking about next, on how to water the plants properly, right? And then they will also end up killing the plants, or we are unnecessarily forcing them to do something they don't like to do, right? So at net, setting a drip is the most convenient and smart option, irrigation option for the urban landscapes, right? Now quickly, all of us are experts into that, but I'm just going to touch base on most of these basics of watering, especially why it is important to set up while setting up the drip system, right? So roots needs the water, not the leaves or stem. At times when I was new, I used to water the entire plant, and it used to attract a lot of pests or the mealybugs, and some plants from the cucumber family also used to get a lot of these fungus building because of this additional moisture. So only the roots needs the water, not the entire plant. And one of the basic is, plant needs the moisture, basically 50% of the air and 50% of the water. They just don't need 100% water. Okay. The roots also has to breathe. And typically, the way I used to water using my hose pipe with the full force and somewhere from far and, spraying on them, that used to build additional pressure on them, or used to, take out the topsoil, out from the plants, right? So both of these are not good. They should be avoided. Also, when I was new, I used to plant at the center of the plant, where the main stem is coming out. Yeah, that's one of the common mistakes we all do. But there is a root ball there, and we should not disturb that. And most of the white roots, which are very important and very delicate, they are at the canopy of the tree. What does that mean is, if at 12 o'clock when sun is on top of the plant, wherever the shadow is fall, that area is all the roots which needs to be watered, so basically at the side of the pot, not at the center of the pot, right? And while watering, one should water it fully and deep. Okay. And just ensure that water just comes out from the bottom. We should not superficially water, otherwise maybe half of the pot below, the roots over there, they don't get any water, and they dry and die, and then there won't be again good growth. Yeah. Also, we have to be careful that not to let it overwater, because by doing that, we are leaching out most of the nutrients from the water, right? Especially all the tiny particles, humus which builds, or if we have added a vermicompost, and it will have so many tiny particles in it, right? And another technique is, obviously we have to water only when the topsoil is dry, not the bone dry, but the ideal test, sir always tells us to do is, poke a finger inside the soil and ensure the topsoil is not moist, and then only water it, right? And one of the trick I have found is I kind of started looking for some of the I avoid watering every day and look for the plants which are kind of starts drooping some of their leaves, and as soon as that happens, then I kind of water the entire garden, because that's the easiest way I found to garden it, right? And yeah, we cannot also water too much. Yeah, that's another problem. If you are watering too much, too regularly, too high, again, whatever that air gap is, we are filling always with the water, with the pressure, and then root will start rotting. And so basically the effect of overwatering or underwatering on the plant is same, because they are both are killing the roots. And sometimes it's difficult for a person to know whether it's killing because of underwatering and overwatering. But using their habits, then they have to understand whether if they were overwatering, then it's because of that, or if they were underwatering, then it's because of that. And obviously the new gardeners will kill most of the plants, by taking care of them, and especially by overwatering them, right? So it's very important activity. And finally, one has to build a kind of immunity system in the plants, and it can be built by stretching them. At least do not water at least for a day in a week, and kind of stretch them so that they will be little stronger and susceptible for other diseases, right? And finally, one has to water early in the morning or late in the evening, because if we are watering during the afternoons, when it is hot, then the water can be hot, and again it may cook the tiny white roots we talked about, right? So pretty simple. So while setting up this entire drip system, we have to ensure that, and I'm going to show explain how we should do that, right? So what are the advantages of setting up a drip system? Obviously, so accurate watering close to the root, it helps the saving of the water up to 30 to 80%. Yeah. And slow watering, which is most important, with the help of mulch, maintains the required humidity, or WAPSA, what it is called as, which is 50% air and 50% water in the soil. And plants do not suffer due to high or less water stress when you are setting up a drip and regularly watering, because they all are watered kind of equally, right? So all the plants grow equally and fast, and this results into increase in the yield up to minimum 20 to 70%. Okay. And we already had a first session. It talks about fresh water scarcity in most of the cities, fast water depletion of the groundwater tables in major cities, and we should never use the fresh or drinking or potable water for plants, and use the rainwater harvesting or recycled water. Most of our new apartments are having these STPs, sewage treatment plants, so one must use that pipeline and either set up a drip, and typically people do not like to touch that water. It's also not that bad actually, and it has been filtered many times and all, but we have set up many systems on such waters, either on the landscapes of all these apartments or the individual houses. So one should use that STP water or rainwater harvest for the drip system. Okay. And obviously the advantage of this system is saving of the precious time. Somebody who's very busy, either they can just switch on the pipe and after 2 minutes or a few minutes switch it off, or put up some kind of automated controller, so they don't have to spend that much time if they don't have. Or in case of large landscapes, they don't have to put the additional labor for the watering, and that's how the time and money is saved due to the drip system. And for the person like me, the techie, I would love that, and enjoy the output of it, not more say of this monotonous or mundane job of watering, which is very time consuming, right? So as we know, the water, the advantages of drip. Now, how one can set up a drip system in their OTGs or landscape. This is very high level. I'm going to explain, right? So obviously we have to identify the water source, the taps, which are available, and how much is the water discharge, means what is the pressure of the water. The easiest way to find that out is just to take a bucket, let the water run, and take a stopwatch, and find out how much time is taken to fill that bucket, and we will know the capacity of the bucket, 15 liter, 25 liter. So basically we have to come and find out how much liter per hour is the water discharge from that water source, right? Once we find that, how much is our, what are the different water sources and how much is the discharge, we have to, identify the water requirement for each plant. And, it depends on the type of the plants, and the size of the pot, the kind of soil it is being used. All these three factors are important, for understanding that. And most of the OTGs, we all know, we are good into that. So I'm not going to spend time, because it's a big topic, to explain that. Once we know that, we have to kind of find out in a particular section how many total pots are there and how much is their water requirement, in terms of, again, calculate and find out in terms of liter per hour. Okay. And we have to basically make a sections, and fit a pump which will fit and give that pressure for that section, right? Again, too much technical, I know I have talked about, but you can find YouTube videos, they explain about it. I'm going to talk very high level, because otherwise it's going to take 2-3 hours just to explain everything in detail, right? Again, we have to find out appropriate dripper, sprinkler or fogger, and the water discharge requirement for a particular plant. Most of the drippers, they come up with 2, 4 and 8 liter per hour discharge. And as we have learned in the basics of watering, we must use as small as possible. So I highly will recommend everyone to use either 2 or 4 liter per hour discharge. In case if you have very big pot, then only go for 8 liter per hour. Otherwise, one doesn't have to go for any more discharge of the water, And another point is, buy a best quality material, various pipes and fittings, available in the market. We always are very, quality conscious, always buy all branded material with everything, At times, I get surprised when, it comes to drip systems. We are not that conscious. So I highly will recommend, you to, and encourage you to find out which are the top companies. I'll share a few names also, to find those names and, go and ask for the material from those companies. So, that will, your system will last for longer, right? And again, proper installation with correct techniques, the basic plumbing, is what is required. It's very straightforward, just we have to carry a water from one source to another source, right? And yeah, one can use the manual drip system at a large lands, but for a smaller ones, the OTGs, or if you can very well set up the automated system using the out of the box controllers, which are also very cheap. You can get one for 600-900 rupees, or you can spend 3,000-4,000 rupees and can get a controller which can handle multiple sections. Okay, so these are the high level design I could think of. Some of the tips as a professionals, because I was working on various projects and was not having time. That's why I got through a friend, somebody who's expert into drip, and learned some of these techniques. And as a gratitude towards him, I have basically helped him to give a lot of leads and setting up the drip, and especially working in automation part, because I'm also techie. And most of the projects which I handle, I set up the automation system. So as I said earlier, setting up a drip pretty straightforward. You can see various YouTube videos and all these fittings, so go ahead and you can do that. But some of these tips which we have to go give is, one must arrange all the top pots, fix the layout first, find the pots of similar sizes, similar soil types, similar types. Put all your succulents and cactus at one places, as much as possible, right? And do and finalize this layout first before setting up a drip, because I see a lot of people make these mistakes. They start setting up as and where the plants are, and then it becomes very difficult for the system to work. Okay, yeah. Or if they are making a lot of changes afterwards, there is a lot of rework which can be avoided, right? As I said, use the quality material, ISI branded UV protected pipes. And yeah, number one company in India, obviously is Jain Irrigation. You go and find out, figure out where is this distributor, and there is one in Bangalore, and get the material from him. Also, the Netafim, the world's biggest, they are the ones who 70 years back have invented the drip system. And Israel, such a tiny country, and it does, I don't know how many times more produce than us, and we have so behind and have to catch up. But I'm so glad we all are using all these material, and they have really used state of the art techniques and so many material and various fittings, automated controllers and sensors, and with IoT, one must take advantage of it, right? And what I found is, if one uses this top of the brand companies, they can easily last for 7 to 10 years. Okay. As compared to all other companies, because, those can last for hardly 1 or 2 years, right? Then all the fittings, maybe I've just talked about PVC pipes. There are various valves. There are pop-up sprinklers for lawns. There are other small tiny fittings, and all of them they are specialized. They come from various companies. So when you go to the market, you find out which is the top. Ask this question, and then they will tell you also, which is the top in the world, India or in your state, Karnataka or wherever you're from. And then they will tell the company, and use that material. Just ensure that the material which you are using, it is compatible with other brand material which you are, basically if you're using a Jain or Netafim pipes, just ensure the other drip material which you are getting, it can fit well, and there won't be any leakages with that, right? Also, one of the mistake we see many people not doing is they don't use any filter, okay, at all. And it's very important to use various filters, either to stop the impurities, the physical impurity, the sand and all those particles, or the bio impurities, the bacterias or anything comes in. And so we have to find out little, what is the water source? Is it a river or I mean the Kaveri water, or the many places there is a borewell we are having, and based on the impurity, we have to put specialized filters which will remove that particular impurity. That way your these sprinklers and drippers are very tiny. They are having tiny holes, and they won't be choked with these impurities, the physical or the, they won't have the lining of these green algae, and you will use them for long, right? And a lot of these people, they don't use any filter, and then they kind of complain, or don't use the branded material, and then they say, hey, all the pipes are same and they are bad, So try using these, and then you'll find out. And I've learned this from the professionals, and I'm just sharing that. Okay. And again, there are various types of pipe. There's something called as an inline pipe, where there is a dripper already fit inside the pipe, and typically, I know this is required in large farms where there are these vegetables grown at a particular spacing. But we found that in many of these our gardens, where we can use such inline pipes, and instead of setting up hundreds or of these drippers, which get choked or they get removed, and it is also time consuming to set it up and expensive and heavy maintenance. You can simply lay these inline pipes, and you can water. It's very easy, right? So use the inline pipes if you're not aware of. and just use these keywords, and then you'll on the key YouTube or Google, and you will see the pictures, and when you go on the market, you ask for those pipe, right? Again, another recommendation, use the maintenance, right? Many times I see people, they set up a system, and as soon as something doesn't work, they stop using it, right? Very unfortunate. We don't do that with our cars or any other product. So why for the drip system? So make sure to fix it immediately. Either you learn and simple plumbing and do it, or I understand these all the plumbers which are available, or specialized drip personals, they also have BTechs and all, they have a families, you get them, take their help, or get it from your plumber, but fix it, so it will work for a long time, and then you can enjoy it. Again, clean the water filters very often, and it all depends on how bad impurities you have and how they will be choked. But I know the farms where they have never done any maintenance of filters, and then everything get choked, and then for the years they could not use anything, and the entire orchards were lost. I mean, just because the maintenance of the filters was not done. This is very hard to believe, but this is the practical example I've came across, right? Again, flush the systems regularly to improve to remove impurities. Also, one can also do acid flush to remove all the algae and biological substance. So basically maintain it regularly, right? Some of the challenges I found while setting up the drip systems in OTGs. Now remember all the watering techniques I told you. So while setting up the drip system, remember all those techniques, and ensure most of those or all of those are catered, right? And that's what I already explained, right? Keep the pots of same size or same type in same type, right? And many times there are these fancy sprinklers, foggers, they looks good and feels very good, but they are having very high discharge. Minimum I found was 32 liters per hour, hour, and the radius also is very long, 2 to 3 feet. And not only that, they needs very high pressure in order to operate. So you need to use a pump or a motor in order to operate many of them at a time. One can use maximum 30 with half or 1 HP pump, right? Whereas you set up these drippers, and you can have 100, 150, 200 pots using simple the pressure of your normal pipe. If you are having an overhead water tank in your apartment or high on your building, right? So understand all of this before learning. Okay, and we cannot simply put one small one fogger or sprinkler to a small pot, because it will discharge water, and hardly within few seconds it will get enough water for it. And then we need a sophisticated controller in order to give only to run it only for those many seconds, 15 seconds or 30 seconds, right? Yeah. And many such sections, and then controller which will handle 2-3 sections at a time. And remember that I've come across at least couple of occasions where 100% organic matter was used for soilless gardening in the OTG. And one of the property of this organic matter is we have all known that it takes the water, holds the water, and releases the water very fast, right? So what happens if you are using the drippers? You will see a channel of water created. It will not spread the water. Okay. Yeah. So I will highly recommend, at least use minimum 10% soil, and use some kind of mulch, green mulch on top, so that, again, that water will be spread. And, again, use the soil till 1 inch of the pot, right? Not somewhere bottom, so fill the pot appropriately so that the water will be spread through. I hope you're understanding or getting what I'm saying. or if you have or forced in a situation where you have to use this 100% organic matter, you need to use some specialized pipes called hose soaker or some specialized sprayers which will spray, and these are all imported, okay, and they are very expensive, okay. So they can spray such specialized ones for such kind of setup, right? And finally, setting up a drip system can take easily 1 or 2 days, and many of normal urban folks, they are not used of any physical laborious work, and it's at times back-breaking, and I came across a couple of occasions where even I was remembering I have to shift my OTG after shifting my house, and with all excitement I was shifting all my pots. And I was forced with some hand pain for almost more than 6 months, so I'll also highly recommend that be very careful. If only you're physically fit, then do the continuous drip setup, or take some time and casually set it up, learn some basic plumbing skills and do it, don't do a lot of mistakes that way, right? Again, few of the common mistake one can really avoid. Yeah, most of the what we found is most of the drip kits which are available, which are not from any brand, they never mention whether they are ISI or something. And most of these ISI non-branded pipes, they are made from the recycled plastic. And now it's good to use the recycled plastic, but when we are laying the pipes on the ground with the UV solar rays, they are not going to last more than 1 or 2 years, and then they all will break into a microplastic, which is so dangerous. We have all learned how not using the simple plastic of the milk, to cut it large, and now here we are doing a major disaster. So please don't buy any non-ISI branded pipes from the market. And you go to the market and the only pipe they sells is all non-branded ones. The companies which I told you, they only have the large distributors, and none of these smaller companies in popular large market like KR market, they sell any branded stuff. You have to go to a distributor. You have to unfortunately buy in large quantities and set it up this way, right? And that's one of the reason why I have to set up a company. Otherwise they were selling only me 300-400 meter bundles if I have to set up all of this. And again, don't have to complicated, use all different type of 16 mm 14 mm pipes in when you're setting it up in OTG. Many of these online tutorials make a lot of these mistakes, I'm telling. So I'm just sharing some of these mistakes. And again, as I was telling you, don't use the material from different companies if it's not going to be compatible. Always check and ensure it is fitting, otherwise you'll have some problems. Many times in the market, they will try to sell you expensive CPVC or UPVC pipe in case you are going to use irrigation pipes for your pop-up sprinklers. So don't use those expensive ones, just use plain PVC ones, and I think they are pretty much good enough for you. I think that's pretty much I could share of, so set up a system by yourself, or you need any help, we are always there. Or if anyone also needs any kind of material in large, smaller scale, we can also kind of provide you that material. Okay. I think with that, my time is almost up, it's exactly 5 o'clock. And if there are any questions, are there, I can take it, Wow, pin drop silence.
Sir, questions tagoltira? Anil tagoltira hegre sir?
Yeah, see, Anil will take.
We are ready to take, sir.
Few questions. I think more to Vivek than Harsha. So we want to collect water, then the drip system. Basically, we wanted to go with a bucket and mug and to put water if required. That is the way this one. So that kind of sophisticated systems, which is a uniform size of pots, uniform size of containers, uniform crops and other things. Difficult for an urban gardening system. Probably it is possible in a commercial agriculture system, whatever may be the case. few questions, Vivek, on YouTube as well as here on chat box.
Sure, sir.
So on primary, I think you have Harsha. You can just stop sharing your PPT.
We'll do that. Sorry.
Yeah. Rainwater harvesting in big apartments. See, we are all staying in quite big apartments, Vivek, you know. And what are the options in let me just put all the questions so that you can answer together. They are all almost related.
Sure, sir. Sure.
And the cost estimates for about maybe a 30-40, like very roughly, based on all your experiences that you can tell. And what percentage of area or rain to be harvested for a normal household? How much area, if it is there, probably it is sufficient for them to collect. You mentioned somewhere that how many liters can be saved and what size of the tank and other things that you mentioned. Especially in BBMP area and other things, whether it is practical to have some of this maybe common area for rainwater harvesting. I think it is there in the chat box. Nataraj Upadhyay sir is also there already. Probably he can just explain, because there can be mix of water from the gutter and other places where it may not be very filtered water. Something like this, and whether rainwater can be used in dishwater or see, what I was told, Dr. Vishwanath always used to tell, rainwater is the purest water. So it can be used for bathing, it can be used for cooking, and it can be used for any other purposes. Compared to the other water, rainwater is the best water. Whatever maybe you based on your experience that you can answer. And one or two questions that would ask Harsha. So you can take up these questions, Vivek.
Sure, sir. The first and foremost is many people have a misconception that rainwater is not drinkable. That is completely not true. Rainwater is very much drinkable after secondary filtration through a simple UV filter. You only need a UV filter to remove any possible bacteria through organic matter in the rainwater, which might come from your own terrace. If you have kept your terrace relatively clean during the rainy season and avoid any dissolvable particles like what dissolves in water like oil, paint, diesel, detergent, soap or anything, it is absolutely no issue to harvest the rainwater from rooftop for drinking purpose also. To give an example, in my home, I have one single tank of 18,000 liter for 1,500 square feet roof area. I mix rainwater from my rooftop along with Kaveri water. I don't have a bore well. Of course, I have a grey water system also, so which is not functional as that. So I don't have any issue from past 10 years even after using rainwater for drinking. I use a UV filter. I don't even use an RO filter because the rainwater is the soft water. You don't need a RO filter at all. RO is only needed in certain places and only for borewell water, not for rainwater, not for Kaveri water. That removes the question of whether the water can be used for drinking the purpose. Even for dishwasher, the rainwater can be used for all other purpose. We have a simple filter. It is a screen filter which removes dust particles up to 250 microns, that is 0.25 millimeter. So this works by gravity. No electricity is needed. As and when the water passes through the filter, the dust gets separated and falls out of the filter. Only the clean water passes through the clean water outlet and gets into the storage tank. This storage tank can be your existing sump tank. Many people have a reservation of storing the water in their existing system. I would recommend to put the filtered rainwater in their existing system so that the cost becomes very less, because you don't have to spend additional cost on storage thing. So in case if the people have making use of the terrace for gardening purpose, then the care should be taken, because there will be a very good chance of rainwater getting mixed with the soil and other organic matter, which might pollute your underground sump tank, and also foul smell might come out of it. So in that case, you have a reserved dedicated storage tank for that, wherein that water can be used for non-potable purpose. Regarding apartments, sir, that is, apartments hold a big opportunity of collecting large volume of water for reusage. In my experience of last 12 years, I've done many apartments, big apartments up to 450 flats. The thing is, many apartments have shortage of water. Many apartments on the outskirts of the Bangalore don't have a Kaveri water supply. They are entirely dependent on their borewell or the tanker water service. So we divide the rainwater harvesting design in case of apartment into three different parts. First, we give importance to reusing as per the available storage capacity in the apartment. So whatever roof area can be collectible to their existing capacity, we collect from that roof area. If they have more roof area than their some capacity, then we divert that water into their defunct borewell or active borewell for direct recharging. And the open area all around the apartment will be considered for surface runoff groundwater recharging system. So thereby, whatever water falls on in the campus of the apartment, nothing should go to the stormwater drain or the sanitary system. Of course, the cost involved in apartment will be more, but if you calculate per head or per flat unit, it will be much, much lesser than an individual house expenses. So usually the return on investment will be within 2 years, sir, in case of an apartment. So for a 30-40 site, it usually costs between 10 to 14,000. That is a maximum. It again depends on the existing piping system. If if there is independent piping from the rooftop, which can be interlinked easily and can be fixed to the filter and diverted to the sump tank, then the cost will be very normal. The only extra cost as per, with the available piping system is the filter, which is a smaller portion compared to the entire expenses. So the next question, sir, one person in the YouTube had asked Mr. Mr. Mahesh Jagannath, he has a question that he has converted a dried up open well to a sump tank. How well it can be repurposed for rainwater harvesting? Of course, Mr. Mahesh, it can be converted to collect rainwater from your building rooftop. See, many people have the concept that rainwater harvesting means putting the water into the ground for percolation. That is a good method, no doubt. But in urban scenario where the freshwater demand is high, we should prioritize to reuse the rainwater from the rooftop. It is very much safe, and it is economical also. Compared to groundwater recharge system, putting a filter and connecting it to your existing sump tank works out very cheaper.
Yeah, another question is also on YouTube, Vivek. Yeah, many of us see having a small house and very old house that we have not constructed the recharge pit at the time of construction. How can we do it now? So is there a way?
Sir, in a smaller plot area of say 1,200 to 2,000 400 square feet, we don't recommend recharge pit at all. We recommend reusing the rainwater. If there is any excess, if they have the borewell, let the overflow get into the borewell for direct recharging. If not, then we need to plan for a recharge well. That should be little away from the foundation line, at least 5 to 6 feet away from the foundation line. And it is very much viable also. We can do recharge pit in an existing building. There is no harm in that. But we need to explore the surrounding of the building for a proper place for recharge well.
Or otherwise in a common area, if see places like Bangalore, that if there is some rain or what is that, ponds can be made on the drain lines and other things, there the recharge pit can be done.
Yeah, in a community environment, like in a gated community where the closed environment of a community can take control of the pollution happening within the gated community, they can certainly do rainwater harvesting recharge pits along the road, along the stormwater drain. So we need to select a proper place in a downstream where the water comes by gravity, put a normal filtration media, allow the water to percolate to the ground. That is the best method, sir.
Yes. So Anil, you are there. Can you take up questions to Harsha?
Yes, sir. I'll. So Harsha, can you come online?
Harsha, you are there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. So I am able to read all the questions. So let me handle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, you can go on. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I'm live now.
No
All right.
problem.
So first question from Nataraja sir, that I have spent 40K to set up drip using irrigating in our jungle, but the silt in the BBMP water during rainy days blocked all the nozzles and pipes. Realistically, is there a way to declog the system which is now idle for last 18 months? Right. So I feel, a couple of recommendations I have given there. First of all, I think the filter was not used, so you must use the filter, before doing that. Second is when we set up a system, there are also flush valves at the end. Okay. And as I was saying, in the maintenance, we are supposed to flush them occasionally, once a month or based on it. Now, if it is blocked and not used for 18 months, still there is an option. Basically, you can remove each dripper and you have to clean all of them and flush them out. Yeah, don't use the maybe acid if it is, as it is poisonous. You can use EM as well, or collect that acid and throw it appropriately. Yeah, but there is a way you can flush it all and use the brush to brush off all the things collected in the drippers, or max what you can do if the dripper is bad, just change that 1 or 2 odd drippers, and it may take little more time for you, but you can definitely do that. I'll call you and I'll share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
And what cautions to take in before venturing into doing the?
I think you put all those points very clearly. What are the precautions one should do while setting up yourself? Many the quality parameters and other things.
All right, sure.
On YouTube, there may be some questions.
Yeah, I'm checking the YouTube now. Okay, I'm here.
Or otherwise, you would have checked actually.
Yeah. There is scaling a problem in
set up drip system in vacant 30-40 plot, but somehow it is not working. The collection tank is about 5 feet high. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Must be not be enough pressure, or need to find out, or why it is blocked. It's very straightforward. There is no rocket science. First of all, guys, just take it and start doing exploring. It's very easy. No rocket science. Anyone can do it. It doesn't need that much technique. You can make mistakes and keep on correcting. So you can also do that.
Harsha, Madhav here.
Yeah.
Most of
I think before Madhav, I think you can probably we thought of having your do-it-yourself drip irrigation here, but today time is not there. We will have separate sessions for do-it-yourself, but I think you can just interact.
Yeah, I think most of the queries that I am going through in the YouTube are related to this pressure.
Yeah.
How high the tank should be, that I'm not getting enough pressure all across. Maybe you can throw some light on that.
Yeah. So I think the first point which I have covered, I see if I'll able to share my PPT again. Here I was telling how to calculate the pressure here. Okay, basics of watering. So there is a method to calculate what is the source pressure and how much is the discharge that we need. Okay, that is calculated using the discharge, and I have explained how you can take a bucket, keep it under the the tap, let it open and find out how much is the discharge per second, and it needs to have a proper pressure. So if it is not happening, it's just because of that.
Is scaling a problem due to hard water in
there's a pressure gauge also one can buy, and we need to maintain 2 kg pressure in the entire system. I mean, if you need to really go that sophisticated, you can very well go buy that gauge and find it out yourself, right? because otherwise I really don't know how to calculate the pressure without the pressure gauge.
Are any particular height that you would recommend for a tank? This should be the minimum height.
It's not only the height, but it is also the capacity of water in the tank. Both of them will, determine the pressure.
Okay.
I can have a tank at lower height, but with more water will give me more pressure.
Okay.
So it's all, can get very complicated, and lot of mathematical formulas and stuff like that. Right. But most of the places I have seen, I've never have to use the pump. Okay. So you really don't have to use the pump at all. So just give me a call, maybe over the phone, I'll explain what is the issue. I'm not getting the issue otherwise. There is nothing else I can recommend.
Anything else, Anil?
Yeah, can you hear me? Is scaling a problem due to hard water?
Yeah, obviously it's a problem because, the scales, those white things, if they go and they will definitely go and sit into the small nozzles of the drippers and foggers, and then they will start choking it, and then again you have to remove all of those tiny things and get them cleaned or replace them. So obviously that's a problem. That's why one of the point I have mentioned here was you must use the various filters to eliminate your impurities or the biological matters. And there are different kind of filters which are available. What I'll do, maybe I'll just enhance my PPT and I will share it in a local place where I will handle all these questions as well. So anyone can see it.
No,
I'll
no
share
problem.
that on YouTube as well.
No problem. No problem.
What is the approximate cost for 4,000 square feet veg garden for drip irrigation? What would be the approximate cost?
If you have to see, the material is never expensive. Okay. So for 4,000 square feet, around 15,000 to 20,000 max. Okay. Again, what sprinklers and how many pots, or whether is it on the ground, and how many variations. But you have to go somewhere far, get that in bulk, in order to, in case if you're buying the quality material. That's what, typically that time and money adds up, into everything.
No. Harsha, it is not do it yourself. If I am getting it done through
Okay.
your system.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, it all depends how many pots and stuff. Typically, for around 50 pots, it is around 4,000 is what is the market rate, 4,500. That's how typically charges. Or up to 150 pots, that is for automated. If you want manual without pump, up to 150 pots, we can charge around 5,000 rupees.
Good. It is not costly. It is not costly.
Not costly at all. Yeah,
whether it is really practical or not. See, if you ask me, based on our field experience, we do not see any advantage with drip irrigation. So,
right.
Yeah,
No, but see, wherever I set up, as I said, for my time is what I'm setting it up, and I know how to calculate and do it. So you need to learn those techniques, and I can definitely set it up.
True.
And overcome those challenges which
when you think of do it yourself, that you have to probably do some mistakes done in the process.
Yes.
Probably set up in a perfect manner. Say many things. Probably at least a simple thing is the pipe. People get online 2,000 rupees per kit and set it up, and after 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, they say that it all chalked and it is all. See, they at that cost probably they cannot provide a quality material. It is absolutely not possible.
And none of the kits have a filter. Very simple. None of the kits have filter. So most of them are non-ISI brand ones. Yeah.
Anyway, you can stop sharing, Harsha.
Okay, sorry.
We will.
And what is the water saving compared to, let's say, drip irrigation versus regular watering? What is the quantum of water that is being saved? Any numbers you can share there?
Actually, those all numbers are there for the large lands and large scale things. Sometimes my heart goes out, people set up the drip systems, but they let it run for so long and there is so much water which gets, drained. And that's what I was saying, you have to have all these consideration. One of the simplest ways, put the small plate on below all the pots, okay, so that the same water is, really not lost, and it can be siphoned out and can be helpful again. But for a large scale, the water can be saved, as I said here, up to 20 to 50%.
Good. So 150 pots, let us say you have 150 pots. So earlier you were using the bucket system for watering. So if you ask me that in our house that we need about 1 liter of water per day now for a pot of about 12 inches. It depends on our the growing medium and other things. At least 3 days or 4 days in a week. So considering 4 liters per week per pot. So whether drip irrigation helps, that's what probably they meant. Can we save water? Or water requirement remains the same? It is only the convenience.
I think and small scale, sir, the water requirement will be almost same. I don't think, at such a small, what happens in the farms is, with the flood irrigation, the water is getting lost in between plants. And that's where there is a large saving in the water in case of the farm, right?
That's the experience. Yes. In urban foodscapes, as we are using in container gardening, the quantum of water required per square feet per cubic feet remains the same.
Absolutely.
We are not unnecessarily not watering the other areas and other things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
right.
So water saving may not be the major reason for drip irrigation. It is more of convenience.
Convenience, the efforts, yeah, and people who are very busy, they cannot,
Exactly. More so, if it is a summer, you really feel the need for a drip irrigation, because when you cannot spend more time in the terrace, and then if you are going outstation, that's a real dilemma. That's where you can do automize it at least for a couple of days. If your plants can survive, then nothing.
Right, and that always can be done. And sir, with our medium and the high mulch, heavy mulch, and it really works, sir. It's really and so we cannot say drip is not good. So entire Israel is beating entire world. So I think I'll recommend Dr. Rajendra Hegde to take it at least for the people who are doing on the large scale, okay, and set up drips, and we should really automate it.
No problem. Yeah.
Give more options available for all.
Sir, one question from my side. We gardeners, we have the habit of changing our garden layouts more often. Every time I find some new species, my garden layout changes. How flexible is the design to accommodate such changes?
Yeah, see, then you design it that way. So there are also a 16 pipe, which is a kind of be a sub main, and then you can have a micro pipes. Okay, so have a pipes of larger lengths, and then put a stake dripper. And also, I'm going more technical now. Unfortunately, the time was not sufficient here to explain all of it for me. But next time, as Madhav is going to conduct, so I'll share some of the pictures, and then he will also show. You can have those pipes of flexible lengths, and then it will allow you at least flexibility to change your layouts up to certain extent.
Exactly. I add a few more plants, things like that. Yes.
Right, or change it here and there. Yeah.
I think done. Anil.
I think we can move over and conclude.
Yeah.
Thank you both for
be there, Vivek and Harsha. Dr. Rajesh, over to you.
Time permits, can I share a short video?
Yeah, please. How much time?
Maybe about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The downtake part.
So it's not working. I'm sorry. You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you can post a link on the comments.
Yeah, I'll do that.
See it. Yeah.
Conclude, Marla?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful session, both interrelated, rainwater harvesting and drip irrigation. So thank you, Mr. Vivek and Mr. Harsha, for throwing light on this area of water usage. And we had lovely viewership in YouTube. Good number of viewers were watching in YouTube, and many interacted in the form of questions also. So we had a wonderful, enriching talk today. And as always, every Sunday we'll be having this till we reach 25 Sundays. As I told in the introduction, probably by the time we finish 25 Sundays, we'll be ready to have a real Uttarahamya Tota, because days seem to be getting better now. So thank you all so much, both the speakers and the hosts on the Zoom service, and the garden enthusiasts who watch this in YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us and making this event successful. Now, for those YouTube viewers who are not yet subscribed to the channel, I kindly remind you to subscribe to the channel, because you'll keep getting updates from on various aspects related to foodscape. So kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel in case you have not subscribed already. Wishing you all a very, very happy and prosperous new year. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for giving the opportunity.
Yeah, please stay online.
And everyone. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.